Before we start, you should know that it took me over a year to learn walk the dogs. I absolutely hated practicing them, and as much as I hated learning them, I do regret not learning them sooner. And at least I love them now, so sit tight, we can master these together. If you are brand new to skateboarding, I would recommend getting a solid foundation of riding, tic-tacs, and pivots before trying this trick. If you tried it in the past and struggled, I would recommend working on reverts and monster walks for a little while and then coming back to it. I can't speak for all freestylers, but keeping my feet in the pockets was a big game changer for me. I used to try walk the dogs with my back foot more on the kicks, and well, it just never felt comfortable or like it was rotating well. But this summer I tried using the pockets instead, and it was one of the two things that really helped make the walk the dogs click for me. Now let's get into what these feet are actually doing. The front foot's main job is to just lift the heel to reduce friction and lightly hold the deck down with the ball of your foot so that it doesn't fly up when pivoting. You don't have to push hard, but you want to keep a light pressure here to keep the deck under control. If you keep the front foot flat, it will cause too much friction. If you keep too little pressure, the deck will pop up. Don't try to treat the walk the dog as if you're walking forward. I used to try to step forward and then pull the nose back as if I was walking, and as you can see, I just would lean forward and fall every single time. I could never stay balanced, could never control it, until I realized that the rotation was not coming from my foot dragging the board around me, but it was coming from my hips. If you look closely here, I am not stepping forward or pulling. I am simply twisting my hips forward to get my foot in front of me, and then twisting my hips back, which drags the board behind me. So I bring my back foot forward and put a little pressure into the pocket next to the nose, and then I lift my front heel and use my hips to complete the rotation. It's hard to verbally explain what is going on, but you can see that my shoulders are facing forward and I twist my hips to both put my foot into the second position. This creates tension in my core, and my hips use that power to rotate the board back. And once I really embraced this motion being done with my hips, my walk the dogs changed immediately. Watch the over rotation of your front heel. I found that rotating my foot by accident like this ruined a lot of practice for me. Make sure that your foot is straight or even a little out to the side of the deck. This position is much more comfortable than having your heel pointing towards the toe side edge of the board. Pay attention to your shoulders. Now I mentioned that we keep our shoulders straight in the direction that we're going. You want the board and your shoulders to be perpendicular to each other. But also notice if one of your shoulders starts to dip. I used to get this weird shoulder dip and it ruined my balance. So if this happens to you as well, I recommend holding your arms up and out straight to stop that shoulder from dipping and throwing off your balance. Make sure you're on the ball of that front foot. In a weird combination of problems, I used to end up using the outside of my toes to pin the board down, and it just isn't ideal. You want the board to be spinning around the ball of your foot. And what would a tutorial of mine be without a method or some exercises to practice? Here are a few different ways to practice that might help you. 1. Start on a carpet board. I saw a lot of improvement after doing these a ton on a carpet board. Like I said, I wasn't a fan of practicing them, but on a rainy day inside, I had no reason not to just walk the dog around the living room. And there was no risk of slipping off either, which made it a bit less frustrating. 2. Start with half walk the dogs. It's pretty awkward to start walking the dog from position 1, so start by standing on your deck and do a half walk the dog to get started. This has helped me a lot. 3. Walk the dog in circles. It's really hard to get that full 180-degree rotation at first. And while that is the goal, you can start by doing as much of a rotation as you can in a little circle, trying to get as close to 180 degrees as possible. But start out with 15 degrees, and then work on getting 30, and then work on getting 60, and just keep going up from there. And 4, my final piece of advice. Like I said, I did not enjoy practicing these. So what I did to trick myself into learning them was actually put them at the beginning of lines I was working on. So if I wanted to work on finger flips, I would make myself do 2 or 3 walk the dogs first to get into the position and then try finger flips. This helped me work on both and forced me to pay attention to my dogs. So let's all be good dog owners and remember to take those puppies for walks.